Hi everybody. This is going to be a pretty short end of the year video. Lots of people are doing them, and I thought, why not go for one? I'm just going to talk about some influential things that have been gotten or I've had that I've rediscovered this year. And also, it is so blizzardy out right now. And we had frozen pipes today in the house, so I've been spending all day dealing with that. But yeah, I'm listening to a record that I got that I really love, and I'll talk about that later. But first, I just want to talk about how often within the realm of photography, we think of influential photography books, and even music, because music and photography kind of go hand in hand. But something that doesn't get talked about very often that I am pretty influenced by, because words are really inspirational to me. Sometimes within a whole book, just a sentence or a phrase, a paragraph, one word will stand out to me, and that can influence something that I decide to write about. It can make me think about it for days. It could make me notice more outside when I'm walking around making pictures, and it can also kind of just shape future projects. So one writer that isn't for everybody, obviously, but is for me very, very influential, and a very dark writer a lot of the time, but is very, how do you say it? Very, very good at describing scenery, and incorporating that within the story, and even incorporating it into character development within the books that he writes. And it's incredible to me, and it never gets boring or old, and it's very tasteful and just very important to the story and integral. So that writer is Cormac McCarthy. I have a lot of these books. A lot of people know him from No Country for Old Men and The Road, which he did not make the movies, but the movies are based on his books. I have The Road. The Orchard Keeper is another very good book, which I'm reading now. No Country for Old Men, which is very similar to the movie, but also quite different. Outer Dark, which I love. Blood Meridian, which is one of the hardest ones that was for me to get through, because of how brutal it is. Sometimes his details are very detailed, and it's just very intense. Suttree is really amazing. Then there's The Stonemason, which is kind of like a short story book, a little quicker of a read. Also, the cover of it always makes me think of, for some reason, a young Neil Young. I don't know why. And then you have the pretty well-known Cities of the Plain series, which is Cities of the Plain, The Crossing, and All the Pretty Horses. All three of these books are incredible. If you can start with any of his books, I would actually recommend starting with the Cities of the Plain trilogy. And yeah, there's just descriptive bits in his books that are, I don't know, I don't want to sound like goofy about it or anything, but like for me, like kind of transformative and kind of really easy to get lost in, and just kind of get carried through the story in a way where I don't have to like struggle to pay attention. And when I reread lines, it's because I want to reread lines, not because I feel like I couldn't focus on it or something, which a lot of books do that to me. I have a very busy brain, and so to have a writer that writes very, I don't want to say simple, but it's very, very slow. I don't know. I don't know how to talk about it, which is kind of funny I'm talking about it. But yeah, it's very paced and very moving in the way that it's paced, and I'm always interested in what's going to happen next and what is happening, and he carries the characters very well, scene to scene, and they are very much scenes, what he's writing about. And I'm just always blown away by his writing. So if you ever can get a Cormac McCarthy book and give it a chance, maybe it'll help you. I don't know. Think of an idea for a portrait shoot or something, or just something, or how to see a scene differently, or something that you're walking through or walking by. I think that's very interesting because I feel like words can be, for me, can push me and be very helpful in that way. So, and on the subject of words, another writer that is just incredible is Robert McFarlane, and this book, Landmarks, which I was gifted for Christmas like 2 years ago, I think, just has... This book in itself is very good, very informative, pretty sad because it's about the elimination of words just to keep up with technology and the times and capitalism and all that stuff, and words that have been taken from younger people that aren't in dictionaries anymore, that are being published, or certain types of books that are being published to incorporate words and word usage. If you want to know more about that, get this book and read it. Even just the very beginning will tell you a lot. I'm not going to read it on camera, but there are all of these words that from all over the world that used to be used, and I'm sure are still used here and there, but let me just try to find one that's beautiful. I mean, Yew-Yaw Camera is the collective that I have started, and that's from this book. It means one who walks crookedly. I think it's lovely. And there's all these different categories. So there's chambers and burial sites is the one that I'm on right now. Rammel or rommel, it's a Scottish word. Small branches or twigs, especially from trees which have been felled and trimmed. Scocker, it's East Anglia. Rift in an oak tree caused either by lightning blast or the expansive freezing of water that has soaked down into the heartwood from an unsound part in the head of the tree. It's just beautiful and brilliant, and the information in the book is really amazing, but just the words and all of the detail that is wrapped up in one single word is brilliant to me, and I'm so happy that he is cataloging those things and keeping them and remembering them, because they're kind of like word recipes that if nobody were to do that, then they would probably get lost, especially in the modernization of everything. So Robert McFarlane, awesome writer. Landmarks is a great book. There's other books that he's written. I recommend them all. But yeah, those things, words, are really influential to me and help my brain experience things in a different way. And music is the same, how it helps my brain experience things in a different way. Photo books, making pictures and walking around, movement is really influential to me. All those things, I feel really thankful and lucky to be able to experience them. And yeah, I just think it's really fun to have that stuff be able to be incorporated in my days, and hopefully you do too, because I don't know, positive influence is really good, and if you can find it anywhere, then hell yeah. Okay, and outside of that, a camera that I got recently that I do need to work on, that I really like, because I've been looking for a 35mm camera since I got my Kiev 6C and my 60s, with this front advance here. I've been looking for a 35mm camera, and I know there's like old Pentacons and stuff that have this, but this camera really stood out to me. I don't even really know why. It's just very beautiful, and I like that this eye part here comes off. It doesn't have any glass in it. It's not like a diopter or anything. It's just like a little screw-on addition that I like. There's something I like about having to take this off to open the back to put in new film. I don't know why, but it kind of reminds me of the Leica M3, where you have to pull out the reel and stick the thing in. It just feels like you I don't know, you're like really involved with the process of loading your camera up with new film. I don't know why I like it, but I do. I recently patchwork re-leatheretted the bottom here. I don't know if you can see that at all, but I went to take the old leatherette off and tighten the screws because the bottom plate was a little loose. And when I went to glue it back on with Pliabond, it sort of started to liquefy, which was disgusting. So I figured I'll just take whatever leatherette I have and just fit it together and make a new little leatherette base plate. So there it is. It was a pretty fun little project. But I have to take the top plate off and clean this advance area out and get the film counter working again, because it's not working, and this wasn't returning for a while, so I had to use some lighter fluid and get that to return, but it works, and I really like how it feels. It's really fun to have this front advance lever, or front shutter release, pardon me, and it's also nice that this Pentax 55 1.8 lens fits on here with no issues, because it doesn't work on my Mamiya 1000 DTL. So yeah, this is a really great camera, and very cheap. If you find these, I think it's a great entry-level camera. It's also just a great camera to use if you've been shooting for a while, and if you want to get out of like the whole realm of Nikon and Canon and Mamiya and all of the known brands. This is an older known brand made in Germany. Sturdy, great camera. I'm excited to keep using it. I've shot a few rolls on it, and I'll continue to use it and see what comes of it, and clean it and try to, I don't know, get to know it a little better. And so a record, I've gotten quite a few records recently. I've always been more of a cassette collector since I was in middle school. I have some back here, and I've had a ton more, and I've had to sell them when I've gone back or gone to certain places and I couldn't find work or whatever. I would go to shows and distro tapes and like old band shirts and stuff and make money that way and live in a closet or something, or a laundry room. So I've dwindled my collection, and I brought it back up, and it keeps fluctuating. But I've recently started to buy records, and one record that I bought that I really like, that is, the sleeve is like sort of like a crushed velvet, is pretty amazing. Really good rock and roll band from the 70s, Medusa. They're like, I don't know, just a really, really awesome band. Here's the inside. Yeah, this is called First Step Beyond, and the vinyl is dual colored, so it's like a goldish color and a bright red. And they're just really good. I don't know. I would highly recommend them. They're really fun. The record feels really good. The packaging feels really good. There's a little insert with lyrics and information about the band, but they never like blew up super big. But they're some fucking really solid rock and roll music, I think. So check out Medusa if you want. Just a few things there for the year. It's been a mostly good year, and I'm excited for next year, and those are some highlights, I guess, and some influential things that hopefully you'll check out if you want, and hopefully you had a good year also, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for stopping by.